Starfleet Underground. Every week, we'll take a look at the latest Star Trek news and then check out a current or classic episode of Star Trek. It's story time. Our first officer is on a research mission. T'Pol is having wine and telling stories about her mother's mother's mother. First Vulcan contact was actually in Carbon Creek, and where exactly did Velcro come from? The answer may surprise you.
Seriously? He says he's going to stay on that ship an extra week? Okay, if that's what he wants. Oh, look, the light's on. Hey, good day, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Starfleet Underground. I am Captain Nathan Adams on board this here vessel. We have almost our full crew today, so we'll be missing one. Our science officer is here, as well as our engineer. However, our computer person decided to volunteer. We came across a bird of prey that was uncloaked and they needed computer help. And Patrick went over mumbling something, but he was going to find out if they really have two. Well, first, before I say this podcast is not for children. If you're a child, get out of the room and leave now because you're not supposed to hear what's coming up. So I'll wait. Is the door closed? All right, because if you're not, believe me, we're going to send a tribble with teeth to eat you. Okay, Patrick went over to the other ship because, one, he's going to help them because he's nice like that. And two, he wanted to find out the legend about the two penis thing is true.
It's all research. He just wanted to do research.
He's researching and helping them reboot their computer system. Apparently, the porn library aboard the ship is rather festive.
When I saw him going over there, he had a clipboard in one hand and a measurement in another. And he's like, I'm going to finally find out. I'm doing the research I've always wanted to do.
And he whispered to me as he's leaving, he says, I don't think there's any gay Klingons, but I'll find out for you. And it's like, all right, so we're going to see. So I'm expecting for him to send one message. He said he'll send it if he finds one, and it's going to be Kapla. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
If there's one exclamation mark, everything's just normal. If there's 7 exclamation marks, something happened.
Yeah, well, I figured since he's staying there for a week, he needed the extra time to feel around. He wanted to get the experience of everything.
He said he wants to find a Klingon that will give him Gowron Eyes.
Double the pleasure, double the fun.
That's right. So he will be back with us, hopefully, if he doesn't find true love. Next, we move on. We have our wonderful science officer, Heather.
Hi, I'm Heather Ferris. I'm the science officer, and I totally didn't help him come up with the statistics and the forms and the paperwork and everything for that, but it was really fun doing that.
Yeah, I heard you came up with a special 2-sided ruler.
Yes, I did. And we got the measurements in place and I figured out how we're going to... Oh, I'm just having way too much fun with this.
This reminds me of that show, the Silicon Valley show, where they had the scientific problem where they needed to measure...
I remember.
And they had to, even mention the girth involved and the stroke length and all. Yeah, that was a classic scene in that
Hand to stroke ratio.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Hand to stroke ratio. So that's what Patrick was talking about. Now I know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
gotcha.
The thing on there for length versus girth and what was better.
Well, I know he was really excited to go over there.
Yeah, he's never runs for the meetings, but he ran to get out there.
He couldn't lean forward against the wall. He was that excited.
He even brought a little backpack with him, and I saw a bunch of lube in there, so...
Yeah, he looked like a tripod. He was very excited. We have our engineer who does marvelously, especially last week. We can't tell you what he did because it's classified, but oh my God, it's hysterical.
What did I do?
I completely agree.
See,
somebody mentioned tripod, and I thought somebody was talking about cameras. And nope, they were talking about Patrick.
But you're the grandfather of tripods, so.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rocky Robinson. I have a tripod that's happy to see you. And the engineer of the show and the ship. And how you guys doing this week?
Oh, my God, I love that.
We're being brought to you by Section 31 and our wonderful Patreon people. So we're quite happy to have you on board. So thank you so much, because when you subscribe to our Patreon, we are fully aware that you don't have to. But the fact that you do makes us happy, and it helps us be able to do photo shoots and put out more and more information and stuff out there. So thank you very much.
It's totally optional. You don't have to do it, but if you do it, you're in on the joke, and we love you for it.
Yeah, it's very cool. So you get a chance to see all the nudes that we've taken and scrapbooks, and you'll see that one time that Heather got rescued by Giorgio, which was really cool. And of course, Heather just had to floss with her gun as Giorgio's is killing the incoming people. So
I think that's when I got a huge crush on her. When she saved me, oh my God, like to die for, biggest crush on her ever.
Best phrase ever on the mission report is when she rescued you. She stood there and looked at you while you were all agape because of how gorgeous she is. And she's like, well, are you going to wait for a personal invitation, or are we going to leave this hellhole?
Yep. And I'm like, I'm yours. I don't care. I'm yours.
That was really, really cool. Okay, so
I think I'm going to have to become a Patreon.
And it's a really, really wonderfully done picture. And Heather looks amazing as always in it.
Oh, thanks.
Now, since Patrick's not here for corrections, I'm going to
we could have done all kinds of screwed up stuff last week. We have no idea.
We won't even know it. So I'm going to assume that our podcast, as always, is flawless. If there's any corrections, we'll find out next week. Now, however, we're going to swing over to the news. I'm sure you have some sort of news for us. Do you, Heather?
Hi, Captain. So Star Trek is having a new convention coming out in Chicago called, I think it's just Mission Chicago. And the tickets go on sale Thursday, July 29th. And it is pretty good prices, especially if you compare them to the creation prices. So if you get a VIP 3-day pass, it is $750. If you just get normal 3-day tickets, it's $155. A 1-day ticket is $65, and if you have any children over 12, that's $35. They have a lot of people there that are going to be showing up. The 3 big ones right now is Kate Mulgrew, Michelle Hurd, and Will Wheaton. So
Get out!
I know, right? Isn't that so freaking awesome?
Damn, I got to see Michelle just to see if she's got any snake plant with her.
I don't know, but that woman is hot.
She is very hot. I got to, because I've always wanted to try that snake plant that she has, that she takes a hit. It's like it's instantly ready in her vaporizer. So I got to talk to her.
Got the good stuff.
Oh my God. And for the fact that Will, he's always amazing.
And you never see him at creation. So it's like, that's one of the actors that I've never gotten to meet or see that I've always wanted to like meet, because he seems so freaking awesome.
He is genuinely as awesome as he seems to be. I mean, I saw him at one of the Comicons that I went to, and I got to see one of his stage presence. He did one of these shows where he did a whole thing for like an hour, and he's just awesome on stage. It was really entertaining.
And we've had the good fortune of actually coming across and meeting him, as well as his wife, and he's just as awesome in person as he is on stage. However, you have to depend upon the mood in which you talk to him, because he is a germaphobe. And sometimes if he's not prepared for it, you go to shake his hand, he'll smile with that wonderful Will Wheaton smile, and he will say, I'm sorry, but I don't believe in shaking hands, but I will give you a fist bump.
Oh, so that's cool.
He's really a cool person. And of course, you said Kate Mulgrew, and shit, that's all you had to say.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
There's such a following for Kate Mulgrew. It's amazing, the fan club that's out there and all the people who are just such Kate Mulgrew fans.
I wonder how long it took them to get her out of holodeck jail after she murdered Tuvix.
I think she pulled a few strings.
Because she went into something like Orange the New Black.
I think, yeah, that's right. I was going to say something about conspiracy, not officially hearing about that through Starfleet channels, but yeah, she was incarcerated apparently on another show.
This is her probation. She has to work towards getting out, and this is the community service she has to do to get out. Community service,
she's got to do conventions. That's funny. Oh my God, that's funny. I'm actually tearing up a little here. Okay, I get so excited about this thing. I'm definitely going to have to go to Chicago. So
I would love it. I've not yet been to Chicago, so this actually sounds like a lot of fun. If my credit card allows it, I may indulge heavily.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
think I will.
Will they do it again next year?
They said they're going to wander around.
Oh, okay. So it's not going to be the same place.
Yeah, they move from year to year to year. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be like a Bedouin. They're going to be like gypsies. They're going to have it in Chicago, then they'll have it someplace else, and which is kind of fair because I guess it gives people who normally can't travel something to look forward to. So that's going to be nice.
Cool.
Oh my God, I see your face. I'm looking at you on the view screen and I just blanked. I need more coffee.
Which screen are you looking at, sir?
Rocky, what do you got? What do you got for us?
Oh my God, so much news. We were just talking about Comicon. So we just had the Comicon at home where they just live stream a bunch of panels on the net, on the YouTube. And I got to check out the Star Trek related ones with the animation scene. Of course, the Star Trek Prodigy is coming. So there's a trailer out for that you got to go find and watch. They got to show some of the actors talking, and it was really cool. They made the point that the show is going to be an entry point for a new generation of Trekkie fans. So if you need to get somebody into Star Trek, this is going to be a great way to get into it. And while it is a show for kids, it's not just a show for kids, because kids can watch this with their adults, and your adults can watch it with your kids. And if you're an adult and you happen to have another adult nearby, you can just hang out together and watch the show too, because it's going to be for everybody. It's going to carry that the things we all love about Star Trek. The optimism was one word that came through, and the positivity of a future and the working together and the teamwork. All of those themes are going to be within this show, and it's going to be a lot of fun because it's going to be a bunch of kids coming together in the spirit of like a Goonies or something like that, but they're all being introduced into Starfleet's way of thinking by none other than Catherine Janeway.
That is so freaking cool.
That's going to be pretty cool.
So that's coming. And then they knocked you over if you weren't knocked over by that yet. And it looks really good. The animation looks top notch. Good stuff for cartoon style in the current era. But the other thing they knocked us over with was Lower Deck Season 2. And if there's a fanboy moment or a fangirl moment, that was the whole thing. The trailer is out.
Yes.
If you haven't seen the trailer yet, go find it. And I tried to share it on Instagram and Facebook, and Paramount made us fucking take it down. I don't understand why they did that. All I did was hit the fucking share button on Facebook, and we did a repost on Instagram. Maybe you're not supposed to repost stuff on Instagram. I don't know how that Instagram thing works. But anyway, it's on Twitter. It's probably on YouTube somewhere. You guys can find it. It's just so awesome, packed full of goodness. And the new security officer is going to be awesome.
And HR told me why they did that, because I got contacted and they says your engineer is sharing stuff. It's like, why? This is because all his traffic belongs to us. We want the traffic. We don't want people going. We want as
I think they just wanted to see how many hits they could get right away.
Yeah.
And when you filter it through another social media, they can't quite count it as easily. So I think they just want to get all the numbers right away. So maybe we can share it later down the road. I don't think it was personal. I think it was just like
it wasn't.
Yeah,
either that or the Ferengi are in charge.
Well, I think they're in charge of the takedown department.
Because and she also asked afterwards, would you be available for a personal visit? Because she's seen one of your Patreon nudes.
Okay. Wow. I will make an appointment.
Yeah, I think that would be a good thing. She's like, I think I can find an opening for him.
And talking about convention stuff, the convention coming up in Las Vegas, if everybody doesn't catch COVID and not go to it, we are hoping to be there. And one of the events they added was a Dungeons and Dragons disco style, the stars from Discovery and a few,
fun.
Not just the current seasons, but some of the other ones. The Orion guy, Noah Averbach-Katz, Mary Wiseman, Mary Chifo, so you got both of the Marys, Anthony Rapp and Blue DeMario, all going to be playing Dungeons and Dragons in live, in front of people. So that should be cool.
Is awesome.
That'll be one of the events happening.
That's always fun to watch.
And then I would say rumor has it, but it was actually printed in one of their more reputable websites we like to look at. A Section 31 show, Alex Kurtzman himself said, hey, the pandemic did delay some things, but we're kind of still working on this. It's very optimistically going to happen is what we're sounding like. So they actually still working on Section 31. They have a couple of actual actual scripts all ready to go. And it's just a matter of timing. So everybody's timing got thrown out with COVID. And you got to imagine it takes a while to put these shows together. So, it's going to take some time to spin up the wheels. And Michelle Yeoh is a little bit busy. She's doing all kinds of things. So they just got to figure out where Star Trek is going to fit into her calendar in the future.
Yeah, I asked her about that when she dropped Heather off. And she's like, that'd be spoilers, you silly boy. So it's like, okay.
Spoilers.
So yeah, she didn't say when.
I'm glad she's going to be coming back. I'm glad they're not totally canceling the show because I was sort of worried about that. And I really wanted to see a show with
The word
her.
cancel and Star Trek should not be appearing in the same sentence for a while.
No,
there's a lot of irons in the fire and they're all glowing red hot. So that's a good thing. Speaking about fire, for those of you that wanted to find out how to cook like Heather, this section isn't for you. It's actually to how to actually make really good Star Trek themed food, like fresh isoberry tort paired with a lovely raccadagino. And so there's a bunch of little things that are out there that are really good. There's a young lady by the name of J.T. Keenan, who's a big Star Trek fan, and she's been creating recipes for and about blogging Star Trek inspired cuisine ever since like the 50th anniversary of the original series.
So this is not just drinks, right? This is actual food.
No, this is all food.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you can get different types of Vulcan dishes, Klingon dishes, and all kinds of things that are on there.
Now, is the Klingon dishes, is it still live and moving, or
actually they have simulation gok, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's not just as good as the real thing, though, right?
No, she's got polmik soup.
Any Klingon will tell you that if the gok is already dead, it's not worth eating.
No, you got to eat it while it's still quivering, and I think she's got a recipe on there that tells you how to do that.
Okay, and
it research, and she populates a Google Doc with notes and all kinds of stuff that she has on there, and she's a member of the Sci-Fi Sisters. So I don't know if you guys ever heard of them because they're really, really, really awesome.
Is that the one that's on Twitter that makes these wonderful twit rants that I think she's part of them too? This might even be the same person if she's the one that okay, I just linked two things together at Twitter, just linked in my head. It's like, okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
Didn't we have one of the Sisters of Sci-Fi on our show as a guest?
No, it's different. That's Sisters of Sci-Fi. This one is Sci-Fi Sisters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's sister and then there's sister. This is sisters.
Yeah. A little more flavor in it, and we're not making a food joke right there.
No. So if you guys want to learn how to cook, and the food is going to be awesome. Like I said, Heather, you're not allowed to experiment with that cookbook.
No. So no more fires.
There's that.
I promise.
Because Dots finally found a formula to get rid of scorch marks. So the room is actually, the galley is looking quite nice.
Nice and shiny.
I know you guys were really, really upset when that brand new ship smell ended up being replaced with burnt food and burnt toast and burnt hair.
I was blown away at the amount of burnt cheese on the bottom of the toaster the other day. You were making cheese sandwiches again.
I was trying.
One of the Dots came in, freaked out because they didn't think it was possible for someone to burn water. You burnt water.
I'm telling you, it's possible. It is totally possible. And I have done it like multiple times, which I really shouldn't admit, but I have.
So I thought that was hysterical. But there is something you are really good at, and that's our recap. So let's get started on the show.
Hi, Captain. So this week's episode is Star Trek Enterprise Season 2, Episode 2, Carbon Creek. It first aired September 25th, 2002. Teaser. Tell us a story. It's T'Pol's 1-year anniversary, a milestone among many Vulcans, and it's being celebrated with wine. At least that's what Archer claims as he's lubricating T'Pol to share some juicy gossip. Then the sneaky interrogation begins. What was she doing at Carbon Creek, May 5th, 2150? Bum, bum, bum. She dodges that question like a pro, and she begins the tale of our very first contact day.
The first contact day.
First contact day. So
not just first contact, but the actual first. Yep. I was blown away at this because I don't remember that part of this episode. It's been a while since I've seen it. I mean, it's a memorable episode, but I don't remember this part. It's like, no. First contact day, that wasn't that whole movie thing with the Borg and all that and the Vulcans. No. We're talking about way back. And everybody knows on Vulcan, it's all in their science directed and their councils. They're in their history books. Everyone on Vulcan knows about this. Vulcans actually met in Carbon Creek the first time. First contact was back then in the 50s.
So basically, the Vulcans' history books do not match with Earth's history books, and someone really should get together and compare the two history books.
It would be interesting.
It was, and it was kind of neat because I was like, I wasn't aware that T'Pol was going to be drinking wine at the table.
It's just a small indulgence.
So
Archer's like, I'm going to get her sloshed. And she's like, that's what you think.
He's like, a Vulcan story gets better with wine.
yeah, when she's like, you gotta, seriously, why the hell are you in Montana of all places? And so.
It wasn't Montana, it was Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
All our history books are wrong.
That's right. I was wrong. Montana is where Cochrane was. I got it confused.
Okay, so the cock is in Montana?
I guess
the
if
cock
you
was voted out of office.
It was in Hannah.
I dedicate that one to Patrick.
That was in Hannah, Montana.
We miss you, Patrick.
It was in Hannah, Montana. We'll go, Patrick. My.
Carbon Creek, Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania.
And this was kind of cool. She starts telling a story from her second foremother, which is her mother's mother's mother.
That was kind of cool the way they did that to make it sound definitely a different culture. So that was nice.
Now, if it was 200 years ago, wouldn't that be her mother? Because don't they live like past 100 years? So wouldn't that be like her mother?
Maybe her mother's mother got down in high school.
It's possible. But this is now, they mentioned it was a year. So she's been on board the ship for a full year now. And she's outlasted everybody.
And then it was like, it was only 2 weeks. And they're like, actually, it was 10 days.
I like the way she corrects some condescendingly.
She exceeded the 10-day limit. She spent a year among humans. So she's kind of cool. She's making forward progress with Vulcan and humans.
Yeah. T'Pol's like, I've been counting every day ever since.
The groundwork for Spock to prove that Vulcans can be on board the ship.
So was Spock the Vulcan that stayed with humans the second longest?
Well, technically, Spock is half human. So you got that aspect too. Yeah.
Did Spock ever mention about humans smelling bad?
Never.
Okay.
He's never mentioned that.
Okay.
I can't ever remember, unless he's talking about something that McCoy did,
So he must have a human nose, not a Vulcan nose.
Well, it's half, so.
Half. Okay.
I guess we could go to the next section.
Aye, Captain. Moving on. Act 1, Swallowed by a Whale. The story begins with T'Pol's great-great-grandmother and her ship breaking down on the side of the galaxy and crashing into Carbon Creek, Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, the captain didn't survive the crash, leaving Tamir in charge of the 2 surviving Vulcans. The first thing they do is activate their distress beacon, and then they wait to be rescued. And they wait. And they wait, and they wait.
AAA's wait time is about 4 months. Please stand by.
And then they start to starve to death. So they make the difficult decision of having to go socialize with humans, blending in so that way they could get food and, survive. But first, they get a, oh my God, how did this pass the censors peep show with Tamir, followed by 2 Vulcans walk into a bar.
Can I just perv out real quick? Just get that out of the way. Just get right away. Get the
pervy out.
Let me just whip that out. And in high definition, kids.
Oh my God.
You could see every outline.
You should not have been able to see her tits. It was like.
It was cold in Carbon Creek that day.
It was very, there it is. Okay, this is not a PG-13 episode. Definitely.
In regular definition TV, most of the people were watching in regular definition TV at that point in time.
Didn't see it.
Yeah, biggest screen was about 27 inches. I mean, that was.
I guarantee you, there are guys right up next to that screen that could see it.
Okay, there were guys that were sitting about 3 inches from the screen, checking out every fucking pixel and counting.
Pausing.
Yeah,
I had a guest that stood up and pointed and went, "I see nipple, I see nipple."
But
I can't believe it passed the censors.
Most people just let it go. It was a fun time back then. Yeah, it was tastefully
silhouette.
done. It was entertaining.
It was a total peep show.
The comedy element after the fact, she put the dress on backwards. That was funny. Yeah. So it wouldn't have been as funny. So she did it for the comedy. It wouldn't have been as funny if they didn't show so much detail.
No, it would have been gratuitous if she turned around to go back behind the screen and she showed butt crack and then they showed the silhouette again, but they didn't. So they did that a little bit to give a little bit more of to get the horny fanboys to watch the show more for fanboys and girls.
I still can't believe they aired that on TV. I still can't believe that because my eyes popped when I saw that, and I'm like, this is not PG-13.
Well, so did Rocky pop.
Something popped. Yeah, something was popping. Yeah,
a few things popped.
Pop-Tarts. What? Are we talking about breakfast again?
And they go and they get the clothes that are hanging on the lines, but where did they get the shoes? Because, the shoes weren't out there hanging on the line, but they are walking with shoes and everything.
I imagine Vulcan shoes look very, very plain and simple because it would be logical not to make your shoes too fancy.
But they didn't have Vulcan shoes. Like Tamir was wearing women's high heel shoes.
Oh my God.
She was doing really good walking in those.
I wasn't even, I gotta forget, when you talk to a show about fashion, you can't forget about the feet because women love shoes. The women are all about shoes. I'm just throw on a pair of shoes and I'm done. But Heather looks at it and goes, her shoes, those shoes don't match. What's up with that?
No, what I'm looking at is the high heels. Like, how the hell are you walking in high heels? And this is the very first time you're walking in high heels. I would have been flat on my face trying to walk in high heels the first time.
She has Vulcan superior strength and core muscles.
The balance too. Yeah, Vulcans are naturally stronger than humans. Yeah.
But it was kind of cool. They go into the bar and they're like, oh, there's food there. And then you see somebody goes, I think that's currency. Oh, we need to get some currency.
That's next section, sir.
Oh, it is?
So they walk into the bar and everyone stops and just stares
that's right.
at
That's
them.
right. That's right. That's right.
And I'm like, I know that feeling. I've done that so many times in my life.
Oh, you have no idea. There was a time I was out with some Marine friends of mine, and we went to a country western bar because that's where they wanted to go. And I was the only person of color in the group. So there's music going on and people talking. We walk in and no shit. It was like a Wild West movie. We walk in, all the music stopped. The band that was playing stopped. Everyone turned around and they looked at me.
The actual band stopped.
The actual band
stopped. That shit really happened? I thought that was just a joke in old movies and films. That shit actually happened.
God.
Oh, man.
Everyone turned and they stared at me. And they saw that I was with a bunch of jarheads and I had my Marine Corps haircut and everything like that. And then it's like somebody hit a switch. They all started talking and stuff. And I was like, what the hell? And it's like, seriously?
Creepy.
We sat down at a table. That wasn't as creepy as we sat down at a table and ordered a drink. There was 6 of us. The drinks came. Everybody had the same color straw except for me.
They gave you a different colored straw?
They gave me a different color straw.
What
and the guy
hell?
next to me, the guy was next to me and he goes, I'll fix that. And it's like, what? And he swapped straws. He said, they're going to throw the wrong glass away. It's like, that stuff happens.
I always get a kick out of, they give you a root beer and they throw 2 straws in the root beer because it's like, I'll always see this idiot order root beer and that's the easiest way to tell the difference. But that goes back to a different era of things. That blows my mind.
Yeah, so it was pretty wild. So to see all of them stop and, your small towns, they know everyone. So when you get strangers come in, everybody's, who's that?
They probably all turn around and go, hey, it's Norm. But it's, never mind.
We don't know who these people are.
Wow.
That's crazy. Crazy stuff. What other things? Okay, we saw Sputnik. That was kind of cool. And who knew that Vulcans were there to observe Sputnik? You guys just sitting there watching the thing go beep around the Earth. That blows my mind. The Vulcans were watching that.
Well, that's exciting if you think about it. You get a new civilization that's taking its first baby step into space. Yes, witness this.
Yeah, I'm just like, well, what color is the satellite going to be? It's silver. I mean, what's the big deal? The more important thing I noticed in this whole episode is the Vulcans also do not have seatbelts on their ship.
No
seatbelts.
So it is a lost technology.
Or logically, it would make no difference to have a seatbelt on their ship. I just don't think crashing
if you're going to crash, you're going to die, period. Yeah. Whether you got the seatbelt or not.
Yeah, chances are, if you're going to, the way the physics work, if you're going to crash on a starship, it's probably not worth having a seatbelt. But still.
Don't they have seatbelts on our spaceships that go up?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Yeah, we do. And plus, if there's an accident or if it stops short and the inertial dampeners are gone, it's like, well, where's Ensign Anderson? Well, he's over there and over there. And over there.
A bit over there, a bit over there, a little bit under the console. Oh, yeah. It's awful. It is awful. And then let's see, other notes I have. Oh, it was cool. They were listening to a baseball game on the radio and she thought it was combat. That was kind of cute.
That was in this section too?
Yeah, I think that was the section as they're walking down the street. I could be. Yeah, no, I think that was before they got to the bar.
It was before they got to the bar.
And the other thing is when I watched this with my dad, I was surprised he didn't call out every single car, make, model, and year. Because the first time we saw this, I distinctly remember him doing that. He would always, that's the thing. If you ever watch TV with my dad, he'll just boom, start blurting out, oh, it's a 49 Ford, or that's about a 62 Buick, or he just does it automatically without thinking about it. He just does it. That's part of the experience of watching TV with my dad. And when it happens during Star Trek, it's a special occasion.
Well, T'Pol's silhouette probably knocked him off his game plan.
Higher definition.
He's probably still thinking about that.
It's worth it.
Yeah. See what I thought I saw.
Oh man.
The after image was still burnt in his eyes. So
yeah.
Lovely shape.
Okay, I guess we can go to the next section now.
Aye, Captain. Act 2. Hook, line, and sinker. Two Vulcans walk into a bar, hustle a game of pool, and walk out with an armload of TV dinners. Trip interrupts the story and calls bullshit, and T'Pol replies, truth is stranger than fiction. Then she continues with her story. As the days wear on, the three Vulcans realize that they aren't going to be rescued anytime soon, so they integrate into the community. They hide their ears, get jobs, buy groceries, get an apartment, watch TV, make friends, and even go on dates. The villagers finally get to know them as the Three Stooges.
I thought that was really kind of fucked up a Trip to. She's telling a story and you're going to mock her. Sounds like a Twilight Zone.
Yeah. You're right, though. I mean, that's the thing about Enterprise is Archer and some of the writing is just a little bit too off kilter. Because you wouldn't be that disrespectful.
Oh my God, don't even get me started.
You wouldn't be that disrespectful about that. TV dinners are funny and all, especially in the era of Enterprise, that because they're still probably working with TV dinners because they're food and replicators technology.
Trip is a dick, though.
The Trip was very much dickish about that.
Yeah, Archer's a dick. We've all heard me say that a million times.
And I don't think they were drinking that much wine to get that much of a dick. So
no, this is before they drank the wine.
Yeah.
In honor of Patrick being off the ship, I just have to interject. With Patrick being off the ship, I will say the line that he probably would have said. I would have loved to have Archer's dick. Okay, continue.
Jeez.
I don't want any dick if they're going to be a dick. Be nice.
I mean, it was a funny line. Two Vulcans walk into a bar and end up with some TV dinners. I mean, that's kind of funny. But the way Trip came out and said it was just kind of, the disbelief. Just kind of, yeah.
Rumor has it the reason why that he said Twilight Zone is because they were pimping Twilight Zone, which was going to follow the show, the airing. So when it was originally aired, Twilight Zone was coming on afterwards. So
now, was that like a remake of Twilight? It wasn't the original black and whites, was it?
I know someone involved with this episode is also involved with the Twilight Zone, and I don't remember who, but I remember it was on Memory Alpha, and that's another reason why they did that.
Yeah, it's product placement. So
yeah,
that's the kind of thing when you're on a network, you kind of have to play with the network. It's all good.
Yeah, but it was kind of neat, and for them to play pool, like you said in the first section in here, it's like it's a simple game of geometry.
Yeah, any child can play it.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you guys notice Mestrel? This dude really bugged the crap out of me. He was doing a duck face. Okay, like the way his lips were, and it's like a chick doing a duck face for a selfie, and he was doing that especially when he was like shooting pool. And I'm just looking at that like he looks like a chick doing the duck face thing for a selfie.
Well, he was thinking somebody might take a picture and put it on Instagram, except we haven't invented Instagram at this point in time.
Well, I was like, okay, it's 2002. So did they just get into this whole duck face thing? Is this when like duck face was like starting to be a fad or something?
I think duck face is eternal.
He was totally doing that.
He has resting duck face.
He had resting duck face.
He's just trying to make the shot. The geometry is easy, but actually pulling off the shot, that requires some skill.
It definitely did, because he had to do the angle and he called out the shots. He knew the rule for pool, because I could have totally seen it being the alien. He wouldn't have. How would he know that you have to call out the 8 ball?
Yeah.
Well, before it goes in. So
okay, and then the 8-ball, do you have to call and see? It's been so long since I've played a game of pool. You're supposed to call it out before you do the. Now you can't just do the 8-ball at any time. You have to save it for last. I thought that was the rule.
You have to save it for last.
Okay,
and you got to call the shot.
Don't you do it in order?
Yeah.
So don't you do like 1, 2, 3,
No, you don't
4,
have to do
5.
it in order. You don't have to run them off in order unless the game specifies that. You just have to save the 8-ball for last.
And of course, if some of the balls are solid versus striped, you pick a solid or striped. Or is the first one you sink is the ball that you get.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you happen to sink the
sink.
wrong color ball, so if you have solids and you sink a stripe, that means you lost your turn.
Yeah.
They had pool tables at my daycare center when I was a kid, and I thought they were the coolest fucking thing.
Daycare center has a pool table?
The kind that I went to. Yeah.
The kind that the kids played.
It had a big full-size one and a little bit smaller one for the younger kids, and we got to play on the bigger one too because and it was better.
Wow.
Always cool to play on that one. But I'm like, let's get a pool table in the house, Dad. Come on, let's get one. And he's like, no, I grew up with a pool table in the house. You're not getting one. I don't know why. Maybe he hated it. Maybe it's addictive. I don't know.
He probably got hit by a ball.
It must have been trouble. It starts with T that rhymes with P that stands for pool.
Stands for pool. Yes. Yeah. I was getting ready to say that. So you remember that song also.
Music Man. Yeah.
Right here in River City.
Yep.
So that's probably why.
Anyway, so the kid, you got to go do your homework. He's a pool hustler, though. He wants to go play some pool, too.
Yeah. And when they go in and they like start playing pool, he fucking bets onto Paul like she's like a fucking object. And she's like, no, you can't do that.
Really offensive. She did not want to be social.
I would be offended, too. Don't fucking wager me like I'm a fucking object.
It is a little messed up. And it's kind of, you want to talk about boundaries. That's a boundary right there. You can't just bet somebody's, go have a drink with the guy. That's the no-no.
That's a slap in the face right there. Like, how about we gamble on you socializing with a guy? Like, you go and have fun with a dude, you know?
But it was interesting seeing this side about how they started to integrate. I mean, they had a little joke that made me chuckle. It's like the kid called me Mo from the Three Stooges. It's like, well, the haircut did look like Mo.
The resemblance is actually there. Yeah, the resemblance is striking.
But it was kind of funny of how they integrated. I mean, Tamir decided to be a waitress, so to speak. And
I think you're on the next section.
Wait.
Do they get jobs in this section or the next section? But yeah, somewhere in there.
They? Oh, yeah, they do again. No, you're right.
Yeah,
I'm wrong.
She's sweeping the floor.
I'm wrong.
And the warp field engineer is doing plumbing. I never did get the guy's name. I think, in fact, in the subtitles, it said man. And it's like, that's not a man, that's a Vulcan. But anyway.
Yeah, but it was kind of cool because you see how they all went to go integrate. And Homeboy is working in the mines because he's working in the mines. He's going down.
Yeah. Working in the gold mine. Oh, it's about that. Yeah.
Going to get down.
Yeah.
So it was neat seeing how they went to integrate and how they started to get with culture. And what's his face really got into it. What's his name? He got all into Maggie.
Mestrel?
Mestrel. Yeah.
Mestrel.
Yeah.
It's just like, wow.
Yeah. I liked how, instantly right away, the humans were friendly. I mean, the guy's like, oh, you guys broke down? I'll give you a lift. And they said, no. Just like, no. I'm like, oh, suit yourself. He was friendly about it. He was like, not a dick about it. I mean, it was kind of almost dick move-ish, but it's like, no, they're just kind of people that don't want to, over socialize, and they have to integrate into the world of the 50s. And I just think that's kind of cool. They get the odd jobs, they're fixing sinks and watching I Love Lucy.
Did you guys notice Mistral broke a taboo, a Vulcan taboo? And do you know what that taboo was?
Lying?
He grabbed that was another one. No, there was some lying going on in this episode. If you want to talk about, the scandal of Vulcan lying, there was a lot of it in this episode. No, he grabbed the pretzel right away. They're not. Paul's like set up the rule. Like, you remember her eating the breadstick? She used the knife and fork to eat the breadstick, and that just offers us, we got some free food. You got some pretzels. He reached up and grabbed the pretzel with his hand and went for it.
He was integrating.
Yeah, that's what the rumor is he was just trying to, improvise and fit in. But it was kind of a like, oh my God, he's eating it with his hands.
Yeah.
I like it. Like Paul is like, where the hell are you going? It's like, I gotta go get the phasey thing that's going to help. It's like, now? And he's like, but I Love Lucy is coming on. I don't want to miss it.
This antenna is inadequate.
Yeah. And he goes out there and she, like a jealous woman, went and followed him. It's like, what? He's getting into the car? well, what's going on? So she thinks automatically that something is up, and she follows. And anybody else observing that would have think that they were married, or at least
big
having
time.
some
Like,
sort of
married? And
relationship.
They're like, we're business associates. We're not married.
Yeah, all in the same house, in the same room.
Three Stooges.
Yeah, but it was interesting.
What about the big show going on in between all of this? The nuclear testing was on the news. They were testing nukes in the 50s. So
but that's when what's his face, Stan, whatever, was like, they're going to kill themselves, and you want to stay here.
Yeah, he was the most pessimistic out of all of them, but I don't remember his name because he wasn't very. He was just.
I'm telling you, it said man on the subtitles. They didn't have a name for him.
Yeah, he's got to have a name, but
just what about his name? What about the name of the captain? The last 5 seconds in the first act. Where did that person go?
No idea.
Well, they were dead, so I guess they didn't count.
Talk about bit parts.
Was he wearing a red shirt?
It's like you get to be a guest show on Star Trek. We're killing you in the first 3 seconds of the show. Oh.
Right. Damn. So that doesn't mean I can come back.
But it was pretty good. It's like, okay, everybody gather around. All right, where's your part? That's me on the floor. I played dead well.
So funny.
But yeah, it was definitely interesting to see how they were integrating into everything. So that was nice. We can go to the next section.
Aye, Captain. Moving on to Act 3. I caught a fish this big. Okay.
Nice.
Try as they might, the Vulcans' effort to blend in with the humans goes as gracefully as Chunk holding a framed map. Mestrel acted like an incel on his first date, while Tamir acted like a serial killer stalking its prey. But the real test happens when the minds cave in and the Vulcans have to decide if they're going to help or risk being exposed. Or are they just going to stay hidden and let some annoying humans die? At that moment, it's a split jury.
That was kind of, well, first part I thought was really creepy in a way was first the way he was just like staring at Maggie in the car. And she's like, you're making me uncomfortable.
Yeah,
way
he was
you're just staring at me. And it's like you get this little smile. It's like, fuck it, I'm going to break the ice and I'm going to kiss you.
If they always, if they're saying, hey, you're not from Mars, are you? You're not doing something right. If they think you're from another planet, they might be turned on, but they're not. You're not quite hitting all the right marks right there.
No, I'm not from Mars. I flew by.
Yeah,
I thought she was doing
further away from that.
Men are from Mars, women are from Venus thing. Like, you're from Mars, I'm from Venus.
I don't think the book was out then. Was it out then?
I don't know.
It might have been out by then.
No, it wasn't out then.
It came out after? Oh.
Yeah. And then after, she's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. And he's like, oh, yeah, I got a chubby ahead of the 7 years. That was good. It's like, did you like it? It was nice. Just nice. No, it was very nice. I liked it.
You got to be very careful if a woman asks you if you liked something. You got to be very careful how you say it. Yeah. Because if you kiss somebody and you say, that was pleasant, it was very pleasant. And pleasant wasn't the right word for her.
No, it wasn't. She's like, I know I haven't kissed a dude in a while. I'm sorry. Let's do it again. I'll use the tongue this time.
That's what's like, I don't know. Let me try again. Yeah. Let's take round 2 and see what let me do a little more research.
And then what's even more freaky after they do that, and this minstrel, she's staring at him from across the street with that, what the fuck are you doing pose?
Dude, she looked like a serial killer. She looked like she was going to kill him.
That was awkward. It looked like he was in trouble and mom's standing there waiting for you to come back into the house. Like, oh my God, what did he do?
I literally laughed out loud.
Yeah. And he actually when they got back into the house and she started to try to argue with him, for Vulcan, he got indignant. And he's like, you can't order me not to see her again? Mm-hmm. What the hell? We're going to have to be staying here no matter what. We're going to stay here and this is what's going to happen. So what the hell? Yeah. And she gets pissed off. She's like, well, screw you. I'm going to go clean the bar.
She was a little jealous, wasn't she?
Yeah, I think so.
Or Tamir, I'm sorry. Tamir's like, you were engaging in intimate activity. She saw him put his hands in a bowl.
Really? But you could see Tamir kind of liked them young because, she's cleaning, the kid's taking interest. And she's like,
there was 2 things going on her side. I mean, she was playing with the kid. I mean, it might be all intellectual at first, but that's where it usually goes somewhere else later down the road.
Well, obviously he was college age, so they got to get the pedo vibe out of the way.
So basically it runs in the family that the women really like the men younger than them.
I guess so.
Makes you think. The Vulcan Vulcan femininity right there. Liking them young.
I can show you things.
Oh my God. No.
But it was pretty cool. And then, you had the accident that back then happened all the time, which was the mine.
Oh, the mine explode or collapse. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Vulcan just happened to be in the right place in the right time to get the hell out of there. He's like, I'm going to go rescue them. It's like, no, they're dead. They got short lives. Who gives a shit?
Ouch.
Like, dude, that's harsh.
And that was the thing that was like, he's learning about humanity and compassion. And apparently Vulcans don't have compassion like that. That's kind of weird.
It's an emotion.
Yeah.
Does that mean they're sociopaths or psychopaths then?
I guess that would fit the bill.
That just means they just won't rescue your ass if you get a fucking cave land on your head.
I am never going to look at a Vulcan the same way again. Now I'm going to only see psychopaths for Vulcans.
That's what Enterprise is doing to the Vulcans most of the time. And this guy,
Mestrel.
Yeah.
Mestrel.
He's changing. He's evolving. He's showing you a different side of a Vulcan. I like that.
That dude's the equivalent of a furry.
Yeah, pretty much. But it was definitely kind of cool. And he stood up to them. It's like, I'm going to rescue them. I don't care. And you better not stop me or I'll bitch slap the three of you, the two of you.
I was, just for the sake of speed, he used the phaser to the particle weapon to
next section
to cut through. No, was it this section or next section?
No, next
they
section.
actually helped the miners on the next section.
Oh, yeah. So they were just
no,
grabbing
he said that I'm
going
to go get the stuff to help them because then if you try to stop me, I'm going to slap the shit out of you.
That's what it is. So they go get it at this section, but they actually go use it in the next one. Okay, so I'll just
is a good segue to
hold
the next
my tongue
section.
to the next section.
Should we move on?
Yeah.
Oh, one thing real quick. I was, maybe this isn't the right time to bring it up. I should have brought it up earlier. The music at the bar scene. Did that stand out to you guys at all? I mean, typical bar scene music sounds a certain way. And I thought the song sounded a teeny bit out of place. Like they really couldn't afford some real music to put in the bar scene. And I was looking through the notes. They changed the song for the Blu-ray and international release of this episode. That was not the original song. They had a song in there called Gently Falls. And it was this guy whining about tears falling all the time in a country music song. And the actual song was a song called Crazy Arms. And I had to do the research and find out who made it. And of course, it sounded a little bit more authentic country than the song they put in the re-release. So the original song was a little bit better.
It probably had something to do with rights, maybe.
And that was a thing where they started to put out a lot of TV shows back then when it was kind of new to re-release a TV show to DVDs. They would for some reason, they couldn't clear the rights to reuse the song. Yeah. So they would just remix the fucking track and put another song in and ruin entire shows based off of the feel of a certain song. And I think this is a major tragedy of American video productions where they do that because they couldn't get the rights to redo it. This should not be a thing.
That seems so strange because if they paid for the rights to put it in there the first time, why can't they put it?
Yeah.
Totally different rights. Yeah. There's a different right from broadcast than there is to re-release and reproduce. And, if you, make another version of it and put it out on a DVD, well, it's a different format. Now you're making DVDs. So there's different rights to make DVDs.
It may have also to do with the family wanted more money for the rights for it, or for whatever reason
they should have put some more money out, but and maybe they're being a little cheap on it. Maybe they were being cheapskates. I wouldn't accuse them necessarily of doing that.
I'm totally accusing them that. Yeah, but this is me accusing them of that because here's the thing: Star Trek has had many series, and every single series that they've had, they have put it to tape or DVD or VHS or Blu-ray or whatever.
Oh, they've re-released all the time. Yeah,
they knew it was going to go to DVD, and yet when they paid for the music, they only paid for broadcasting only. So that's pretty cheap.
So anyway, it's something that pisses me off about the way our production system works in the country and the rights internationally. I know that the musicians should get all the rights to their music originally and get the money, but they at the same time they shouldn't be too greedy. But it's nice to get paid, but it hurts me when you appreciate a piece of art and they change the music on you. It's like enjoying a Star Wars and they re-release it with a weird scene of Jabba in there all of a sudden. What's up with that? They redid the entire bar scene.
They had Jar Jar Banks or something in there.
Or Han didn't shoot first. I'm like, what? Han shot first, okay? That's the kind of part, that's a key part to his character. Exactly. He shot first, and redoing things like that pisses me off to no end. Anyway, back to the show.
Okay, so what's really cool is that after he yelled and screamed, Tamar decides she's going to help him find how to get into the mine and use the phaser and how to find a back door, so to speak, which Patrick's like, I'd love it if somebody found my back door.
I found the back door once.
Find the back door to be able to get in. And so I thought that was kind of cool. And to be able to come in and to do that, and he becomes the hero, which was awesome. You know, I thought that was nice.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting they used the particle weapon to clear through really quick. Yeah. I mean, time is in essence when you have people trapped in the cave. But they could also just, geologically looked at it and said, here's the weak point, go through here.
Okay, let's move on to the next section because you guys are talking about it.
We are in the next section.
She has to recap it first. We skipped her recap.
Sorry. Oh my God.
I'm so sorry, Heather.
That is my fault. The only reason I'm sorry, I apologize. I guess I'm a little anxious because I'm supposed to be somewhere like soon. And I totally jumped ahead, and I apologize. Go ahead.
You guys are so sweet. If Patrick was here, he'd be like, fuck you.
No, sorry. Go ahead. Next section.
Okay. Act 4, A Whale of a Tale. Tamir and Mestrel help the miners, finally deciding to fully become a part of the community that they live in. After helping the miners, 3 months later, another Vulcan vessel picked up the distress call and rescued the Vulcans. They say their last goodbyes in separate ways. One Vulcan curses the earth, spitting on the soil that he walked on. Tamir wants to give a kid a gift of a debt-free college tuition, so she sells the idea of Velcro to humans, changing history forever. But Mestrel can't pull himself away. He's staying, and he's getting some cosmetic surgery. Tamir agrees and tells the rescuing captain that Mestrel and her captain died in the crash. Back on Enterprise, T'Pol finishes her story to a jaw-dropped audience. They can't believe what they heard, and T'Pol laughs it off as an amusing story that entertains them. Back in her quarters, T'Pol gets out a 1950s purse, proving that her story was real.
Okay, now everything I said earlier just applied to this part.
Copy paste.
That's all. Just do a copy paste because I thought it was pretty cool that he was able to rescue people because he showed emotion and he showed, that he wanted to rescue them. And it actually even touched Tamir some. The other guy, Mo, didn't do anything for him.
Mestrel's the only one that has feelings and empathy, and he's like, "Fuck you, Vulcans! I'm staying here on Earth with the rest of the people that have empathy."
That was, but it was cool because they, after all that time, somebody finally answers their distress call, and they're like, "What the fuck? We called AAA like months ago."
Yeah, we actually got it from the Tellarites, and they were a little slow, so and we weren't answering our. We found it in our spam filter by accident. So sorry, guys.
Yeah, the Tellarites called us and we thought it was a warranty call.
Exactly. We didn't answer the phone. They left a message and like, why are these fuckers leaving messages for us? And we listened to the message like, oh shit.
Yep.
But again, it shows that Tamir got a little bit more emotion, and that probably went down to her great granddaughter or whatever, because she's saying goodbye to everybody, and the kid she actually got a lady boner for. It's like, I can't go to college, I just can't. And it's like, why? Can't afford it, don't have enough money.
It's a major tragedy.
Yeah, she's like, well, what the fuck, what do I do? Like, I'll sell a phaser. No, that's too complicated.
Exactly. I've got an impulse manifold. No, that was broken in the first place.
It's like, here's something that's going to make all the people in the military and paint wars happy. Velcro. They don't have this.
She couldn't sell them seatbelts because they didn't have seatbelts.
Exactly. It's like, I got something better than seatbelts.
Oh my God.
Velcro. Could
you imagine if they didn't use it for that and they decided to sell as a stress release tool?
Oh man, because people funny. Maybe that's where bubble wrap came from. Was from aliens.
Oh yeah, that's a good possibility.
Interesting.
But yeah, she sells him Velcro, and looks like it wasn't even. Well, it had to be enough money to put his ass through college. So
yeah,
I don't know what college cost back then, but there was a lot of cash in that tip jar.
Yeah.
Yes, it all fit in the tip jar.
Yep. It makes me wonder, though, they didn't touch on the fact that if Mestrel stayed there, did he wind up being with Maggie?
That's a good question. I think this is a spin-off TV show we didn't get.
Did they have kids?
He talked about going to the cities, the big cities. I think he was going to hang out in New York. And who knows what could have happened there.
Or when he got his ears like chopped off, did he get like
did he get ear surgery?
Did he get his tubes tied at the same time?
And if he did get ear surgery, how would that went when his blood is green?
Exactly. What if he got a splinter in front of somebody? Oh my God, your blood is the wrong color.
Green.
What the hell? It's just a little splinter. I'll be fine. Like, no, wait a second.
Yeah, it's like, what is this? And he lived for a while. So I'm curious if they had did this to leave an opening for a spinoff, like you said, and they decided not to go down that road.
And maybe a couple books. I mean, he could have definitely gotten a couple books out of this.
Yeah. And they definitely could have done it because that was the whole thing with Gary 6 was about in the original series.
That's right.
It was supposed to be a spinoff and it didn't happen.
So he couldn't have gotten a vasectomy because they would have seen the blood was green.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there must be half Vulcans out there.
There's got to be.
What did he do every 7 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, a different thing is, did you guys know that this was the 14th consecutive episode to have the same writing credit for Rick Berman and Brannon Braga?
Oh.
I did not notice that, and then I saw that in the Memory Alpha notes. I thought that was kind of interesting. They've been on a writing spree.
Yeah, as of 2020, it remains the record for the most consecutive Trek episodes credited in some way to the same writers.
And I think this one also was like nominated for a Hugo Award or a Nebula Award.
I don't know why.
I thought it was we're going to have to ask her what her score is here in a bit.
You know my opinion about the last 14 episodes that they did.
Exactly. So the other cool thing I thought was the name of that character, Mestrel, maybe named after the inventor of Velcro, George de Mestrel.
Oh yeah, that was so cool.
The patent was granted in 1955, which is 2 years before Sputnik. So the elements of time and space are a little bit out of whack in the episode. But I thought that was interesting that Velcro was invented by the guy named by the character who stayed behind. It wasn't invented by the Vulcan who left it.
Well, they were on Earth for 2 years. They just had to shorten it to 3 months because the episode was only an hour long.
Well, unfortunately, I got to tie up loose ends because I have a hard stop coming up here. We got a report. I got to send back to Earth.
You're wearing a seatbelt.
Yeah, actually, I am. I didn't realize that the time. I thought we were going to be finished a little earlier, and HR really wants this report. Before we continue off on the thing here, of course, we're going to have to ask Heather, since brought it up, what was your score?
4.
And how about you, Rocky?
Oh, I enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun. I'm up in the 7 and 8 range. I think it was cool.
Oh, okay. And to pretend to be Patrick, I think it was nice because they didn't have any Archer and I didn't see anybody else. And it was an episode that didn't have Hoshi and it didn't have Reed in it. So I think it was the first episode. I would give that about a 6.
That's true, though. It didn't have a lot of the main characters.
No, it didn't because they were on the ship and they were like, what happened was.
I mean, we did show a little bit too much nipple for a Star Trek show, but I wasn't complaining too much about it.
I still can't believe that. What about you, Captain? What did you think of it?
I think I would give it a 6 because of the fact that it showed a lot of personal dynamics. I liked seeing Mestrel develop his empathy for humans and whatnot. And again, it shows why T'Pol is the way she is because of her great grandmother obviously has room to grow. She was firm in her belief, but she was allowed to. She shifted. So if she really didn't care, she wouldn't have sold the Velcro,
Good
so
point.
Was that actually truth or was it part of the story part of her story?
I think she showed the purse, so she has no reason to make stuff up. So
yeah, that purse had a Velcro opening.
Yeah.
Did it?
So
no, I'm just kidding.
It was inside the thing.
I really dug that they had the purse at the end. I thought that was a cool point. It didn't make any sense whatsoever that a Vulcan would be traveling with this old 1950s era purse.
She took it as a souvenir.
It's a family heirloom. But,
she took it as a souvenir, which again showed sentimentality, which is an emotion.
It's kind of, this is kind of like, whoa, she has a purse. I think it was kind of cool.
And, that little Velcro snap is where she kept the condoms. And since she sold it, that's how she was able able to produce the kids that gave to T'Pol.
Okay.
So, but overall, it was a good show. Normally, Patrick will be talking about what was going to be for next week. However, since he's not, I will go ahead and tell what the.
Oh, I thought you were going to make everybody Google it.
No, I could do that. But next week's episode is going to be called Minefield. And it's going to be Enterprise winds up going into Romulan minefield, which would have been a good time for him to have taken that book on the Romulan Star Empire. And so it's going to be about them trying to be able to escape, and Reed gets pinned to the ship's hull. So it's going to be really interesting episode for next week. And for those of you that love Enterprise, get as most out of our episodes as possible, because we're going to be stopping soon when Lower Decks comes on. So enjoy it as much as possible. I'm sorry we have to end this on a quick note, but like I said, captain's duty is always has to be done. Oh wait, I'm gonna go ahead and do a Patrick again. Patrick's duty. Don't you mean Patrick Captain's log?
I was about to do that too. That's where our same mentality level is.
You guys.
So we're gonna have
I
to
sometimes think I'm the most mature person on the show, and that's not a good thing.
No. So we're going to have to wait. When Patrick comes back, we're going to see if the wind blows, will his ass whistle. We're going to find out what happens. Thanks, everybody, for joining us for another wonderful week for Star Trek Underground. Thank you, Starfleet Underground. Starfleet Underground. And thank you again for joining us on the premiere. So make sure, again, you not just have a great week, but make it so.
And if you can, support the show by going to patreon.com/Starfleet Underground. Lots of perks to choose from, and you might even like some of them. Starfleet Underground, beaming into a podcast feed near you. Log on to our website at starfleetunderground.com and send your comments and questions to thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. Follow us on Twitter at StarfleetUnderG, and on Facebook and Instagram, we're Starfleet.